So that being said, what is the SVT story? What's like, if you were to meet someone, I don't know, about 17 and a half minutes ago in an elevator in Virginia Beach, what would the because I think you're in an elevator a few moments ago. What and they said, hey, what do you do? And because they see your awesome shirt, what would you tell them?
I say that robotics is a massively growing industry, but it's insanely difficult to get a robot to work inside of a business. And what we do is we make that super simple. We bring the process down from 12 to 18 months to 12 to 18 weeks or less. And we're democratizing how robotics gets adopted, and we're making it more accessible to users. So you don't have to be a coder to deploy robots. You can be industrial engineer and ops manager, which I think is going to be massive, because right now the industry does not have the ability to deploy all the robots it needs because there's not enough coders to write the software. So a platform like us is actually aimed towards allowing the market to actually meet demand. And I think we're at the right place at the right time to make that happen.
I'm curious to know how Zack. One thing that Zack and I have said, this is episode 58, I believe. And one of the things that a reoccurring theme is the fact that COVID has accelerated the advancement of technology.
Yep.
How has COVID played a factor with you in the development of the platform that you guys are deploying?
Yeah. So moral of the story there, I think, is never waste a crisis, right? So we were fortunate, and it was kind of nail biting, but we raised around right at the beginning of the crisis, which I think, of course, everyone was quite nervous that the capital markets would dry up, but I think we had a solid company. So we didn't have any issue closing. But I was happy the checks went into the bank. Right. But what was cool about that is we all of a sudden had a big war chest, and we had not scaled up the team. So we were able to actually keep the money in reserve and wait for that inflection point before we throttled up. So huge advantage. I think a similar story happened to PayPal back in the first .com boom. And they were one of the companies that was poised to hire a lot of the tech talent that was not available. And that's in fact what we did. So we raised in March. Of course, COVID hits in March. Mm-hmm. And we decided that we were going to use this time to, number one, get as much awesome talent out there as possible. So between March of 2020 and December, we went from 8 people to 22 people and just onboarded just awesome talent. Right. So that was number one. So we, again, don't waste a crisis. We took advantage of that, and we got an amazing team together.
You guys are at 31 now.
We're at 31 now.
Crazier to think that's 14, 15 months since then. But even so, I thought that quote was great, by the way, because I think so many people were just like, oh, let me sit on my sofa for the next however many months I'm allowed to. Yep. I didn't realize it just seemed like something that flowed off of you. Apparently Churchill said it, never let a good crisis go to waste. But I mean, so many people they just were like, screw it. We'll figure it out afterwards. And now we're basically at that point, it seems like, and it's like, what the hell have you been doing? And you got a 15-month runway on them. And it's just like, way to be lazy.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, if you look at our sales in 2020, right? So we grew, I want to say 7.5x between January and December, all of which was in Q1 and Q4. Q2, everyone was just freaking out. No one was buying robots. No one was thinking of anything but just keeping their businesses open. And then Q3, people were like, you know what? We need to do this robot thing. Amazon did it, and they're actually crushing it. So maybe we should try doing it too. But it takes a while to get your ducks in a row. But by Q3, we're starting to monetize the pent-up demand for robotics. And because our company is all about speed to value, we were able to sell and monetize really rapidly. In the 6-month lull period, never waste a crisis, we put all of our focus into developing connectors and integrations into robot companies who weren't selling anything either. So we took all that time. We onboarded something like 50 robots onto our platform on our dime, and they didn't have to do anything. We built up a network, and then by the time that the end customers were ready to buy, we had this big portfolio. So we used that time wisely. We scaled up the team. We scaled up the adoption of our robot side, and we positioned ourselves well for the customers to be able to, when they integrated, they were able to take a choice from 50 different companies. So, and then since then, our sales cycle when we first started was like a half a year, but our sales cycle right now from to lead to close is 4 to 6 weeks. And we've actually been closing, like our close rate is going way up. So it's, all that 6 months in a way, I don't want to say we were happy that the crisis came, but we actually looked at it and said, okay, we've got a lull. What are we going to do with it so that when we come back, we're gonna crush it?
I've been directly involved within our entrepreneurial community for years. And the most common question I get is, Tim, I want to get involved, but I don't know what events I should attend. Well, Startwheel eliminates that pain point because we consolidate all the events you should attend into a single calendar. Now you'll be in the know and see where to spend your time. Gone is the need to search multiple websites and calendars. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.